Working in a call center is not easy. One of the main frustrations, especially at the beginning, is the language barrier. I mean, it's difficult to deal with customers who make comments about your accent.
Also, psychological help does not exist in this industry. People are receiving calls with difficult cases, and I lost my money, I lost my job, I don't have money to pay.
The last time you complained to customer services, who were you really talking to? If it wasn't a bot, the chances are it was probably someone who was thousands of kilometres away. That's because most of the world's call centres are based in India and the Philippines, but there are major hubs on the rise elsewhere. And today we're going to be zooming in on the growing industry in Latin America. You're going to hear from some of the hundreds of thousands of young people who answer your calls every single day in English, trying to solve problems and dealing with a lot of angry customers. I'm Hannah Gelbart, and this is What in the World from the BBC World Service. So first of all, you're going to get an idea, a picture of what it's like from people who have worked in the industry. This is Paula.
I'm in Bogota, Colombia, and I've been working in a call center industry for 7 years now. Well, I decided to work in this industry because I needed to. Like 7 years ago, I was looking for the job that will allow me to study at the same time. And call centers usually offer flexible schedules. And also the salary. I think that the salary is good. I mean, it's good for someone who is still studying. Working in a call center is not easy. You are usually dealing with people who are already upset or looking for a solution, so it can be mentally exhausting. You need to have a strong mindset and do not take things personally. One of the main frustrations, especially at the beginning, is the language barrier. I mean, it's difficult to deal with customers who make comments about your accent or refuse to continue the call until you transfer them to someone in the US, for example. So it can be frustrating at first. I think it's a good job overall, especially if you're looking to improve your English or gain some experience. It's an industry where you can grow if you want to. I know people who started taking calls and are now operations managers, so there are definitely opportunities to move up.
Here's Gerardo.
I live and I am from Bogota, Colombia, and I have been in the call center industry for around 8 years. To be honest, right now the salaries are not worth taking into account the effort to learn a new language, such English in this case. So also psychological help does not exist in this industry. So every day, every time, people are receiving calls with difficult cases, and I lost my money, I lost my job, I don't have money to pay. But the call center companies are not providing help because you are handling with your own problems at home, your personal problems, and at the same time you have to handle the problems from people around the world.
And now we're going to hear from Santiago Venegas, who is a reporter with BBC Mundo. That's the Spanish language service. And Santiago is based in Miami. Hi.
Hi, Hannah. How are you doing?
I'm good. So, Santiago, these are mostly American companies that are setting up call centers like the ones we've been hearing about in Latin America. And a lot of people listening to this might assume that those kind of jobs are done by AI. So I'm quite surprised that this industry is growing. Why do you think these companies are investing in human call centers?
Yeah, so I was also surprised to see how much the industry is growing across Latin America. And AI is definitely playing a role, and an increasingly important one. But at the same time, human beings are still crucial in customer service. And the reason why the industry is growing so fast is that it is very, very efficient for American companies to outsource these customer service operations in Latin American countries. It is just so much cheaper for them to do this than it is to hire directly US-based talent. And when it comes to why Latin America is growing so much, it maybe has to do with the fact that it is based in the same time zone as the States, and that allows just constant communication, real-time adjustments and feedback with the big company in the US. In the end, it's also about how much a big pool of young workers Latin America has, young, skilled, bilingual workers who are willing to do this job there are in Latin America.
And just how big is this industry, and What kind of impact is it having on local economies?
Well, it's a huge business. I came across a study that says that this is making around 15 billion in Latin America. This is around the size of a small country's whole economy, like the Bahamas. So it's huge.
Is that annual?
Yeah, every year. So it's huge, and it has definitely a huge impact in the local economy. When we're talking about Colombia, for instance, the estimates are that over 750,000 people are working in the industry, which is around 1.5% of the population. So yeah, it's a lot of people, and it's a huge impact that this industry is having. And there's a lot of debate around whether this is good or not for the Latin American countries. These are companies that are paying taxes, and this is formal work, which is something that these countries often lack. But at the same time, some analysts believe that this makes Latin American economies more dependent on big American corporations. And in the end, this doesn't allow these countries to build their own companies and economies. And there will always be a question of whether there's a world in which these young workers could be, working for local companies and building their own economies instead of taking calls from companies in the US. But this is a world that doesn't exist. And in the end, this is the best alternative that these people are finding to work.
We've heard a lot about Colombia today. Is that the country in Latin America where this is happening most?
Yeah, Colombia is huge in the business, but there's also a lot happening in Mexico and Brazil. So I would say these are the three countries that are, the places where the industry is growing the most.
Santiago, thank you so much.
Thank you, Hannah.
So is there really a future in this, given the way that things are headed with AI? Let's hear from Paula and Gerardo again.
For me, this is definitely temporary. I'm so grateful with the call center industry because it has given me a lot, but this is not what I want to do, long term. I'm about to graduate as a pharmaceutical chemist, so I'm really looking forward to studying a career in the field I have worked so hard for.
If I cannot access to a call center because of the AI or because of the low salaries, I would not be able to pay my college at the same time. So it's a very hard situation. I have met people from all other careers, engineering, even medicine, people with many experience in college, in study, in other jobs, and they just say, "Hey, I'm tired because I'm not earning what I am supposed to earn because of my career." It's just like an easy exit, just to try to pay the bills.
Hi, Hannah. Santiago here again. Since we last spoke, I got a statement from an industry representative. She's the head of BPRO, which is an organization that represents the industry in Colombia. And she acknowledged that the companies, the call centers and other companies within this sector are having issues retaining their staff. 57% of the staff leaves within the first year. But they say that they are doing a lot to try to improve these numbers and improve the overall working conditions. They say they are investing on training for their employees. They say that emotional well-being is a priority for them. They are adding more and more mental health support for their agents after, hearing the reports from them that they struggle with everything that comes with customer service. They also say that they are investing on technology such as AI to help their agents better manage workloads, and they are trying to improve their workspaces in line with the international standards.
Have you guys got any experience of working in call centres or other kind of jobs fresh out of uni, anything to make a bit of money? You can get in touch with us, leave us a comment below. And before I go, I want to shout out some of the comments that you have been leaving us on some of our other episodes on YouTube. So we did an episode on why your favourite artist might not be touring in your city anymore and could be doing a residency instead. And we got loads of comments on this. So Ritu said, I still don't get why they can't lower their prices if the artist is doing a residency. And Andrea said that no one makes money just off music anymore. I think that's the bigger issue. If streamers actually paid artists more, they wouldn't have to rely on touring or residencies so much for profit. Then they could lower ticket prices. And we got another comment saying that the challenging thing about having a residency, especially in the US, is visa application. We have also got a really interesting episode about grads struggling to find jobs in other countries. So if you can relate to that, do have a watch or a listen, and you can get in touch with us anytime right here on YouTube, as I said, but we're also on WhatsApp and we're on Instagram at BBC What in the World. That's it from me. I'm Hannah. This is What in the World from the BBC World Service, and we'll see you next time.